Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. Kamala Harris had been interrupted yet again by Mike Pence. And though she responded in a polite, if stern manner, she received a lot of heat for her comments. Compare this to Joe Biden in his debate with Donald Trump, when in a moment of anger, he declared, "Will you shut up, man?" and was applauded for his comments. Clearly, there are differences in the communication styles of men and women, and clearly society has different standards of communication for men and women as well. These differences can be seen in the classroom, the workplace, and the household, but recognizing them can increase productivity and reduce tensions with those around us. Since researching this topic, I have found that my ability to communicate with my friends has improved, and I've developed a greater understanding of the social situations around me. Now, male and female communication, at least in my research, has been found to vary most differently in their forms of nonverbal communication and in their forms of communication in disputes. And in both of these topics, you will notice an imbalance of power. So first, let's look at male nonverbal communication. According to a study by Point Park University, men will use fewer nonverbal cues than women, and they'll be less likely to pick up on them as well. They're going to use less eye contact than women, and they're often going to look away when trying to recall an event, or they may even close their eyes completely before they can understand something. Yet they're going to prefer face-to-face, direct, immediate, close contact conversation. Perhaps this is too subordinate. You're going to notice that one of the prime points that I have on this board is that men act like a coach in nonverbal communication. Men will use physical touch, their direct closeness with you, and their lack of eye contact to say, it's okay, I've been there before. But what they're perhaps not saying in that moment is, I'm with you right now. They're showing sympathy, not empathy. In the case of women, you're going to see quite the opposite. Women will use more expressions and more nonverbal cues, and they're going to be more likely to pick up on the nonverbal cues that are used. They're going to use more eye contact and yet offer a greater space to the person talking to them, giving them more power and control over the conversation than they themselves have. And they're going to use physical touch to display equality. They're going to say, I'm with you. They're going to say, we're going to get through this, not you're going to get through this. They're going to show empathy, not sympathy. And you're going to see that empathy point come back up later on. But for now, let's already discuss what we've covered. Perhaps you're already noticing through the nonverbal cues that, hey, a lot of the things we've talked about in our speech classes lean toward the feminine side of communication. This is because female communication styles are more audience catering. In fact, according to a study by the Pew Research Center, a majority of Americans find female leaders to be more empathetic than male leaders. If the reasoning as to why isn't clear yet, let's take a look at our communication in disputes and see if we can uncover some more. So this is according to a thesis by Karima Merchant of Claremont University, and the information has been affirmed by communications expert Michael Grinder. Men are goal-oriented speakers. They are always speaking as a means to an end or to achieve something. So in a dispute or in a time of crisis, men are likely to offer solutions because it's what they know how to do. Men want to offer a solution to the problem because they see themselves as the superior voice. Oh, I must offer a solution to be comforting. It's okay, I've been there before. Here's my answer to you. When men can't offer this solution, they retreat. They draw back. They want to be alone because they believe they're displaying weakness. So they retreat to a place by themselves where nobody can talk to them, maybe like a man cave, which is why I have a cave here. I know, it's a little stupid, but you're going to remember it because women do the exact opposite. Women don't retreat. They don't go to the man cave, they go to the conference room. Let's remember that women value relationships. Women are relationship oriented. They don't base their success on what they achieve. They base their success off of the quality and consistency of their relationships. So for women, they seek empathy, and they need empathy to be displayed back to them. If a woman feels that she's understood, she doesn't need a perfect solution to the problem that he's been offering. She just needs to feel understood. And if she can feel understood, she can display that empathy as well, and there's no need to retreat to a man cave because we talked it out. So, now that we've covered nonverbal communication, you see that men and women use it a little bit differently, and now that we've covered communication in disputes, you see that men and women express their best intentions in different ways, right? Men are acting as coaches. Men are there to support and uplift you from a place that they say, it's all right, we can get through this because I've been there before. And in a time of crisis, they may retreat to have some alone time to reflect. Women are going to be there to uplift you from the sense that we can get through this together, I'm here to support you, and at the end of the day, we can talk it out if there's an issue at play. But those differences, again, go back to power. In high school, my sophomore English teacher often told us that voice equals power. And the ways in which men communicate verbally and non-verbally give them greater voice and give them greater power. According to Rothwell's 2022 book on communication in groups, men are more likely to speak up in a small group setting 75% of the time. And they're more likely to interrupt as well, particularly if the person speaking at the time is a woman. So the Harvard Business Review says to men, don't lean in when you don't have something to lean in about. And it's important that everybody in this room does their part to make sure that everybody feels welcome at the table. Yes, that's going to rely more on the men than on the women, but it's important that we all do our part so that when some of us are retreating to the cave and not the conference room, we can be brought in. And to the women who feel that their voice can't be heard, they're suddenly welcomed again and encouraged to speak. So, again, this is going to rely more on the men than the women. So to the men in the room, I leave you with this, an old Southern adage. There's a reason God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth.